Swamiji. My question is, how do we conquer fear?
What are you fearful of?
Like spiders, snakes.
Spiders and snakes. Fears come from various causes. Sometimes these fears are embedded in the subconscious because of something that happened in your childhood. If in your childhood you were a lizard climbed onto you, that left a mark in your subconscious which is causing the fear again and again. Sometimes these fears come from past lives. There are people who are claustrophobic. They fear small spaces. One claustrophobic lady, she asked me, Swamiji, when you sit in the car, don't you become fearful? I said, the thought never came to my mind. She said, I become extremely fearful. She is claustrophobic. There is the MRI machine. Some people, when the MRI is taken, they start sweating and they have to stop the process. All right, so everybody has different kinds of fears. Some fears are a consequence of our thoughts in this life itself. But if you wish to eradicate fear, there is a very simple process for it. You leave things in the hands of God. Focus on doing your best and accept any result that comes. Fear happens when we are attached. It must be like this. It must not be like this. I should not get any pain in my body. If that is your attachment, then you fear pain. And if you change your mindset, all right, I don't want pain, but if God wants me to experience pain, I shall go through it for His pleasure as an act of surrender to Him. So when you detach yourself from these desires, this should happen, this should not happen, then you get rid of fear. When I was a teenager, I used to ask, what is this fear? I don't know the emotion of fear. But later on I realized what is the source of fear. The source is attachment. The scriptures say, Bhoge roge bhayam kule chuti bhayam vitte nripalad bhayam sarvavastu bhayan vitam bhuvi nrinam vairagyameva bhayam. Wherever you are attached, the consequence will be fear. And the moment you become detached, you rise beyond fear. So take fear as an impetus for internal purification. If you are experiencing fear, fear is not the disease. Fear is the symptom. Just like if you have a temperature, that's not the disease. The disease is malaria inside. Right? So you don't focus on removing the temperature, you focus on curing the disease. So the disease out here is the attachment. Fear is letting you know there is something wrong. You need to purify yourself and rise higher.
So when does a soul go to hell, or is there even a place known as hell if all the souls are in a cycle of birth and death until they achieve moksha?
There was a great Indian Acharya who preached the Vedic philosophy throughout the world. And when he went to London, this was in the 1960s, when the influence of India was much less upon the world than it is today. So often Indian teachings were looked down upon. In London, this great Acharya was asked that our Abrahamic religions have a concept of heaven and hell. Is there a hell in Hinduism as well? So he said, yes, London is a hell. A place where there is material consciousness, which is bereft of spirituality, is like hell. So there are hellish conditions on this planet Earth itself, right? You have people who are living in hellish conditions for whatever reasons, their past karmas, etc. But the Vedas go beyond. They say that this planet is not the only one in creation where there is life. Like this planet, there are so many. Science informs us that there are 100 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy. All these stars were just not made by God for decorating our night sky. Obviously, on this planet Earth, you find living entities on the North Pole and the South Pole. I once read an article saying that in the volcano at 600 degrees centigrade, there are living entities. So we can, again, make a guess that there must be living entities in other places as well. The Vedic scriptures tell us that there are hellish abodes of existence where the souls are more devoid of God consciousness, and that is what makes them hellish. So now as the soul transmigrates from lifetime to lifetime based upon its karmas, usually it would go by its karmas to a next womb where it continues its journey. Sometimes if it has committed too many sins, then for an intermediate period, it needs to go and bear the consequences. That is when the soul goes to hell for some time and then again comes back. That is the Vedic perspective.